Makeni City. Good day and welcome to Global Multimedia Online TV with me, your presenter, Trifina Elizabeth Coker. And you are watching Global Multimedia Online TV. School reopening for pupils attempting NPSE, BECE and WASSCE is welcoming news in Bombali District. Global Multimedia engaged school administrators and pupils on their impression and challenges faced in the first week of operations. Edna Kane, a reporter, put this together and now reports.
At a time when the unexpected global pandemic struck into the country, the government of Sierra Leone, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, in their resilient efforts in fighting the spread of COVID-19, put on hold in all social activities, religious places, and learning institutions. The West Africa Examination Council, which is responsible to regulate the affairs of all external examination, also issued out a press release putting on hold in all external examination ranging from NPSE, BECE and WASSCE. Months after, HE President Mada Bio announced in a press conference held at State House the reopening of schools for only pupils in external examination classes, with strict measures set aside to observe the precautions of the Health Ministry. These strategies, however, include the obligation of all pupils to mask up during classes, the availability and prioritization in practice of hand wash, adjustment of sitting accommodation, among others. Global Multimedia Online TV make a week assessment in various schools in Makeni. Schools administrator speaks to us during this exercise.
That is why we have the screening being done at the gate, at the entrance there. They have these infrared thermometers being used so that they detect any pupil or teacher with a temperature that is higher than normal. And besides, you have the hand washing stations that are in place. And we also ensure one pupil will occupy a seat.
Continually engaging the kids on the area of masking because that is a challenge. It poses a lot of challenge to them, in particular when in classrooms, the ventilation system, is posing some challenge, and we will continue to do that. And so far we are fine, given the fact that there is a huge compliance in terms of masking, because we are pinpointing that whosoever does not come along with a mask, the person will not stay in school, ask the person to go in and look out for a mask. So that is what we have kept us doing, and we are teaching very effectively. You may observe that around the campus, you do not see them loitering. They are in the classroom. Myself, I'm deeply engaged in the teaching. In terms of their cooperation, they have been very cooperative. They came in large numbers.
We were told they will give us face masks, but until this time, we don't have face masks. But the kids, some of them come with face masks, and they are observing the social distancing. And I have a hand washing facility which we had during Ebola. So that's one, though it's almost out of use, but we are managing it up. And I bought some soap and hand sanitizer.
Students explain to Global Multimedia the challenges they have been facing at home during the COVID-19 and now that schools are reopened for them.
Accommodation in the school. Like for benevolent, we are more than 1,000 that is going to take this examination. But we did not have enough seat accommodation. Our principal told us that each person should be in a seat, which is one in a person in a seat. But let me say, we are more than enough to be one in a seat, so we did not have city accommodation. So the principal said that if the class has filled, the balance should rent home. So what we cannot have this thing going on in the school because we do not have a city accommodation, a perfect city accommodation. So we are facing these constraints in this school. That's why.
The Regional Coordinator for Free Quality School Education Northeast, Abubakar Jallo, speak on what they have been doing during crisis.
We have been doing it since the advent of COVID-19 in our country. If you could recall, on March, we closed schools because of COVID. And since that time, we had been preparing, we had been going around sensitizing both students and parents about how to stay safe from COVID. A couple of weeks ago, we intensified the training. We had a training of trainers, that is, select school administrators here in Bombali and all the other districts. We had that training as to how we can provide psychosocial support for the kids when school reopen.
The compliance rate is relatively appreciating in week 1, but both the school's administrators and pupils are strongly calling on the government to provide all facilities they have promised to make available in the school environment. Global Multimedia Online TV, I am Edna Kane reporting.
At a moment like this, when the country's economy and access to friendly livelihood is stagnated, especially for vulnerable children living in camps, Global Cycle for Girl-Child Empowerment GoGE has supported its beneficiaries with food and non-food items. GoGE presented 10 bags of 25 kg rice, soaps and face masks for its beneficiaries at the PoPDA camp Magbenty Makeni City. I was there and put this together. Girls' education is a strategic development priority. Better educated women tend to be healthier, participate more in the formal labor market, earn higher incomes, have fewer children, marry at a later age, and enable better healthcare and education for their children, should they choose to become mothers. All these factors combined can help lift households, communities, and nations out of poverty. According to UNESCO estimates, 130 million girls between the ages of 6 and 17 are out of school, and 15 million girls of primary school age, half of them in sub-Saharan Africa, will never enter a classroom. To help cushion the negative impact of COVID-19 levied on teenage girls living in camps, specifically on PoPDA in Bombali District, northern part of Sierra Leone, an organization that has been working with its beneficiaries in the camp has donated 10 bags of 25 kg rice, soap, and face masks to prevent them from COVID-19. The communications officer of Global Cycle for Girls Child Empowerment, GoGE for short, Santigi Conte, speaks on the rationale of this donation and their expectations.
This project is a backup for our education project we are implementing here at PoPDA, which aims at supporting girl child education, because we know the situation of people in this camp and we know the vulnerability of girls in this camp. So that's why the Global Cycle for Girl Child Empowerment Foundation wants to change that dynamic, wants to change the notion of people in this area, wants to change the things that has been happening in this community. So we want to see these girls become better people in the future. When distributed these things, we expect parents not to send their kids outside again to beg, and also ensure that they sat at home, do their basic things, study, and prepare for the exams, because we have some there who are preparing for public exams.
Suleiman 60's Kamara, Vice Chairman for the Polio Persons Development Association, Magbenty, and one of the facilitators at the camp, expresses his mood about this gesture.
I think this is a step in the right direction as far as COVID-19 has claimed a lot of life globally. To us, for GoGE Foundation, thinking about our children, looking at our own vulnerability, regards education as education is key. I think I just have to say congratulations to these guys. If you can see, the CEO is just a youngster that thought it fit that, though she is a lady, she has to think likewise to improve the lives of the children with disability and even children of disabled persons.
Beneficiaries appreciated the management of the organization and call on other like-minded organizations to come on their aid.
I feel happy and I appreciate that for your efforts. The message now for I appreciate the provision for us and for telling really thank you for them. Christmas for I feel fine. I feel bad because Corona come. Where for it? Where's done there for it now?
At this crucial time when sexual harassment, rape, sexual penetration, and other violence against women and girls has menaced women's developmental drive to a downwage and fruitless endeavor, a tireless and enthusiastic organization named Women's Forum for Democracy and Human Rights have taken a bolden step to add their voice to the fight against all forms of violence faced by women and girls. Emilia Jengo is the program coordinator of WOHFRAD. In an exclusive spotlight conversation with our reporter, Desmond Alfred Jonathan Farmer, explains their thematic areas and how they make effective inputs in this fight.
All right, let's talk about the campaign you do, putting on black always, But at times, it's not always about doing the campaign, not about putting on the black. It's about what happens next to the victim, those who have been victimized. So now we had a case of a 5-year-old girl that was either raped or sexually penetrated on the type. That case is gradually going down, and we've seen cases where people and girls have been victimized, and justice at the end of the day will have nowhere to find its place. What were you doing to further this advocacy, not only putting on black?
We've had several cases that has been convicted, and I will tell you the 5-year-old girl case is still an alleged case.
Okay.
I'm saying it clearly so that everybody will know this. The problem we're having, when we have alleged cases, we tend to blow it out of proportion, and sometimes we care less about what we should do to make sure we have evidence.
Okay.
Yeah? And so what we've been doing over the years, probably because this 5-year-old case is in Freetown, we've not been doing much as an organization to go there. Okay. But for the other cases, recently, let's leave that for a 5-year-old. Right. Recently in Kwenadugu, we have a 4-year-old girl that was alleged to be sexually abused. What we did as an organization, we know we have the family support unit, and then they are not that well capacitated. So we support them with fuel as an organization, so they'll be able to convey the alleged perpetrator to Makeni. Here is the regional hospital. And some of the things we've been doing when we put on black, it's not just putting on the black, but every Thursday I put on black, I will send in a message. And some of the messages I've been sending to the government, it's not just about shouting about us having a life imprisonment for sexual and gender-based violence perpetrators. Before you secure a conviction, there are a lot of things that needs to be done. And some of those things borders around even the capacity of the FSU. I will now tell you, go to the family support unit. A whole regional family support unit cannot boast of a vehicle. So when there is perpetrator, how could they convey that perpetrator? Even if they can offer them a vehicle, they cannot afford fuel to fuel that vehicle. And so there are a whole lot of things. If the government is really serious about fighting gender-based violence, we should stop wasting these monies going around to ask people to hands off our guards. It's a very good campaign.
Okay.
I'm not criticizing it. Yeah. But those monies we are using for the launching, we can use those monies to give to the family support unit, buy vehicle for the family support unit, buy fuel for the family support unit, give them the necessary resources they need so they can go down to fetch perpetrators. But like I told you, we've gotten a scenario where an alleged perpetrator was conveyed with a bike, with an Okada.
Okay. The
police officer was at the back, and then the rider was in front. The alleged perpetrator was in the middle. So what he did, they reached in a certain location. He just pushed the rider. They fall, and then he got away because we don't have a vehicle. So how long can we continue to have perpetrators going scot-free?
Okay.
And sometimes also farmer.
Yeah.
Let's assume a case happened in Kamakwe, and within the space of 3 days, that child has not been brought to Makeni for medical examination or treatment. Before you know it, we don't even have forensic evidence, forensic machine here. The evidence is lost.
International Cooperative Day is an annual celebration of the cooperative movement observed on the first Saturday in July since 1923 by the International Cooperative Alliance. Community Advocacy Sierra Leone has ended a day engagement at the SLT Hall in Makeni. This meeting was in line with the commemoration of World Cooperative Day and welcoming of the registrar in Bombali District. Handler Mark Williams now reports.
On December 16, 1992, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed in a resolution the first Saturday of July 1995 to be International Day of Cooperatives, making the centenary of the establishment of International Cooperative Alliance. Since 1995, the United Nations International Day of Cooperative has been observed jointly alongside International Operative Day. Cooperatives around the world celebrate today in various fashions, and each year's celebration goes with a theme. Cooperative for Climate Action is this year's theme. Cooperative is not a new sector, but what has been the reason for its ghost existence? The Registrar of Cooperative, Newton Marlin, comment.
If you look at this Cooperative Act, it should say this is not the Act of 1977. If you take a 1977 to now over 40-something years, it's as old like me. So, this you see the kind of situation where they begin. I don't travel to a different country. The last meeting I go in Lagos last year, in Nigeria, we in a gathering of cooperators. Now we in Liberia, they behind so much per cooperative, including both the policy and the act with the government cooperative worldwide. We in 1977, Liberia even was then in 1936. So you see the situation of how cooperative be not taken serious. Government go, government they come, they still not able to solve that. Why? I work at the Ministry of Finance. Because the missing link always, we just talk about macro policy and big English term. The side way they deal with the grassroots people and the middle class people, we don't neglect them.
Patrick Mansare is National Director Community Advocate. He speaks on what prompts the actions in commemorating World Cooperative Day.
Every first Saturday in July in a year, we do commemorate World Cooperative Day. And this has been a breakdown for far too long. People are not well au fait with this particular activity. So in that light, Community Advocate Sierra Leone deemed it fit to commemorate this particular day. If we look around, especially in the remote areas, because we are a human rights organization, we are more advocating, lobbying for small-scale farmers that are in the far rural areas. These people, their activities are not well coordinated. In fact, they are embarking on this individual farming system, and we want to increase their knowledge for them to be involved in this commercialized farming system. Our expectation is that we want government to be more committed in helping farmers, and the people also to be more committed in cooperative activities. And we will continue to ensure, because if we look at farming activities, it's part of human rights. And if it is part of human rights, we want everybody's right to be respected, regardless of your status in society.
Global Multimedia Online TV Daily Room News, Andela Mark Williams reporting.
This is all we have time for in today's edition Daily Room News. Keep watching and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and all of our social media accounts to have first-hand updates about happenings in and out of Sierra Leone. Have a pleasant day and thanks for watching. Dr. Vincent Kanu Road in Makeni.